Run, river, run, run through the hills. Run, river, run to the sea. Run, river, run to your place beneath the sun. Run, river, run.
Hi, this is Jan Lewis. Welcome to be my guest. Today we have Hal Gaucher with us. Hal is an illustrator, and she has, I believe, didn't you have an illustration on display at the Worcester Art Museum?
No, but I do teach there.
She teaches, yeah.
Yeah, so I teach comics and like Adobe Photoshop to adults and children. I work often with teens, and yeah, I do a lot of the kind of like, you know, more contemporary artwork with them. Yeah.
Yeah, the comic book. Wait till you see what she does. Where did I read about you? Was one of the Sunday newspapers, or was it?
It might have been. I don't know if I was featured anywhere recently, but I do kind of do a lot of like self-advertisement and publishing. I also worked at C.C. Lowell, which is a really, really, really great art supply store in Worcester.
Oh, C.C. Lowell.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny. You go on Park Avenue, and how many times I know where it is, but I've gone past it. I mean, that sounds contradictory, but it's easy. It's just so hidden down.
We recently, like, they moved from Park to on Pleasant.
Oh, so now they're moved.
And now they have really great parking, some really great window space. It's the same square footage, but it's just used a lot better compared to the old store.
Is it near the Potter? What's it, the Prince and the Potter? Or?
It's near Ed Hyder's, so right down the street from Ed Hyder's Mediterranean. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and I know there's quite a few fraternity houses up there, too.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah, near
Get a lot of college students.
WPI,
yeah.
Right? And then my grandfather was at Clark. Where'd you go?
I actually went to Lesley University in Cambridge, Massachusetts. Yeah.
Leslie? And what do they major in up there?
So it was a sister college to AIB, and then they just decided to create one university. I came in right before they transitioned to that, but they did a lot of education, a lot of counseling, and I was one of the art students there, which was kind of cool.
You like that one?
Yeah.
AIB, what's that?
Art Institute of Boston doesn't exist anymore, but now it's alive and well in Lesley. So
was it Lesley a 4-year school?
Yes.
Did you get a
BFA? Yeah.
A Bachelor in Art?
Yep.
And after that, what did you do?
I moved to Worcester. I was originally from Northborough, Massachusetts, and my partner actually went to Clark, so we had a lot of like really cool connections out here. We decided to, move to Central Mass and see what we could do out here.
Are you both artists?
They do poetry, so we collaborate a lot. Let me see if I can. Yeah. So this is a book that I screen printed and wood cut. I'm moving it the wrong way. Where it features their poetry and also some wood cuts that I did myself.
Okay, so your partner did the poetry, and Hal did the drawings.
Yeah, they're like a huge source of inspiration for me. Their name is Alex McCoy. They feature at the Dirty Gerund at Ralph's Diner on Mondays pretty often, and we do a lot of like really cool book work together.
I was looking at Hal's work, and now this is a lot of you out there already know it. You've got young people in the family, but. Look, this is a big genre now, right? It really is. You go to a library, and at least they let it be known like this is the section with the
graphic novels, comics. Yeah.
Is this called simply graphic illustration? What do you call it?
For me, I just call it illustration, or book arts is often kind of used interchangeably. So the main difference between a comic and a graphic novel is that comics come out sequentially, like monthly by monthly, and then graphic novels are usually like you release them all at the same time as one consolidated story.
So what would you describe yours as?
So this would probably be, I'm hoping to make it a series, so this would be a comic. But if I did like a long-standing, like, one-off story, probably more than like 50 pages, then I would consider that a graphic novel.
You did that in the front.
This is a view from my house, actually.
It says, Do Not Walk, by Hal Gaucher and Alex McCoy. I don't know if you could get this, but the detail in this, without being annoying, the detail is fun. Now, basically, how long have you been doing it? Since you're a kid?
I've been drawing since I was really little. It helped me make friends when I was younger because everyone wanted their Lion King, like, versions of themselves drawn or something, or like dinosaurs. And so I really got a lot out of it when I was drawing as a child. Drew a lot of animals, and then kind of like moved towards animation and comic book work as I went because I wanted to tell stories.
You knew what you wanted to do.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
There's no doubt.
Yeah.
Do your parents think, wow, we got a winner here?
They always wanted me to be like a lawyer or like a doctor or I think they wanted me to be a counselor, and those are all really cool, and I can see why maybe they wanted me to do it, but this was kind of like, if I don't do art, I don't know what I'm doing. You know what I mean? Like, this is what I was supposed to do.
This is your passion.
Yeah.
All right, now we're talking with Hal Gaucher, and she is an illustrator, and she's also an educator over at the Worcester Art Museum. Before I go any further, how would people get in touch with you about your classes?
So you can find the class listings on the Worcester Art Museum website. I also teach sometimes at Technocopia, which is a really cool maker space in Worcester. They have a lot of different, shops there, so you could use a 3D printer, you could use a die cut machine or a laser cut machine, but I would usually be teaching printmaking, so silkscreen. I have some examples of my silkscreen over here.
Is this easier than just drawing it? To me, I would just be attracted to drawing them.
You still have to draw it. So, so for these, if you ever want to make your own T-shirts or your own prints.
Oh, yeah, I love that idea.
I teach there.
What is this?
So this is a basement photo and an illustration that I drew on top of it. So it's just two different views from a basement in my college dorm.
I was going to say it looks like maybe the bottom of the Worcester State Mental Hospital. it does. I'm reading about that now.
Wow, it was a super old building. I think it used to be a nunnery, and they used it as like a dormitory, which is kind of cool.
And you live in?
I live in Worcester. Yeah.
You live in Worcester.
Yep.
They've got some old triple deckers up there. My son, he's about your age. He's living in one of those. I don't know. If you got a good landlord over there.
Oh, my landlord's great.
Okay, he says the same thing for his.
Yeah,
but I
really
look at
lucked
it.
out. Yeah.
Like, he says, "Mom, this is all we can afford." He's got a roommate. He says, "This is it." I said, "Well, you guys could pool your resources and come back here to the summer." No,
that's what my parents say.
Doesn't want a license. Doesn't want a car. He can either walk. He walks everywhere, or he can take the bus.
Yep.
He's happy.
Yeah, that's the really great thing about urban environments is that like if you have the right infrastructure, like you can really just really invest in your community right there rather than having to travel all the time and like try to find opportunities outside of the city.
Different world.
Yeah.
Different world. Now, here it comes. The Woo Comics. Tell us about this one.
So Woo Comics is really, really exciting. I really want to do community organizing in Worcester because I feel like there's such a really good opportunity for it. Like there's, so much going on, but not like, the level of collaboration yet. I think it's coming soon. Woo Comics is a indie comic convention that I wanted to host in central Massachusetts.
Pop-up? What's that mean?
So the Worcester Pop-Up is this really great pop-up like center in downtown. So they have people host their events there. They try to make it accessible. They try to make it affordable. People sometimes host yoga events. Sometimes they're doing art events or gallery space stuff. They did some really cool stuff with Powwow last year, the Mural Festival.
Yeah.
So they're allowing me to host there, which is really exciting. The main thing is that it's going to be for self-published and independent artists. So
how about authors? Anybody? No, they don't.
If they're into comics, yeah. Because like Alex and I, we collaborate on comic writing. So But
September 21st.
September 21st, 12 to 7, at the Worcester Pop-Up, and
20 Franklin Street.
20 Franklin Street.
Remind me, where's Franklin Street?
It's right in the middle of downtown. It's like
go up off the side.
It's right near if it's less than a mile from the Union Station. It's near the park and the town hall area.
Is it heading more for Clark down that way, or is it heading back towards?
I don't think it's heading towards Clark. It's closer to that WPI kind of area.
Oh, it's okay.
Yeah.
It's out that way. All right.
Yeah.
That's a nice area, too.
It is a nice area.
That's a nice. Okay, September 21st.
A lot of great restaurants.
12. That's a Saturday. 12 to 7. Free admission.
Yeah, free for anyone who wants to come in. Yeah.
Yeah, take a look. Hosted by the Worcester Pop-Up, 20 Franklin Street. Now, if you're a reader of these types of things, if you're a kid who's interested in trying it or an adult, come to this because you'll be there, right?
I will be there. A couple of my colleagues will be there. People, artists from the Central Mass area are going to be there. So go out and support your local artists. You might find your new favorite storyteller in your own backyard. And yeah, I feel like there's not a lot of opportunity for specifically comic book artists in central Massachusetts. I feel like they have to go all the way to Boston, which isn't accessible for everyone, even though there are some really, really, really cool conventions in Boston. But yeah, I just wanted to bring it out here. So anyone in the area who, might be like your son who doesn't, have a car, can come to this cool thing.
And draws. It's not... I wouldn't call it comic book, but it could pass. I guess he draws like this one guy warrior,
characters and stuff.
A character.
Yeah.
And
People,
then like
character art's
symbols.
really cool.
He loves symbols from ancient groups.
Oh yeah.
He gets those on there, and I'm thinking he's got that talent, but he's also a poet, very good. So I can't convince him.
Yeah. I feel like there's something there. Like, maybe he should take a class with me.
How much is a class?
I do not know off the top of my head because it runs depending on materials. So, like, the kids' courses during the summer, we pay for the materials, and for the adult courses, like, they're expected to bring their own stuff. So it really depends.
What would you need?
So usually if you're doing comics, it would be like, I would recommend a ruler, I would recommend, like, a decent quality sketchbook, I would recommend a long arm stapler to, assemble your own comics. We just did a really cool thing where I was finally able to get people to print and photocopy their own comics.
I don't even know how to do this.
So, like, they were able to create all of these really cool, like, they're called zines.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Can you hold on up there so we can get a... You did that yourself, obviously.
Yep, this was one of the first zines I've ever made. Yeah.
Hold it up. Let's see it, Sal. Hold it so we can get it on the camera. When did you draw that one?
So I drew this. It was for one of my first illustration courses taught by this really great professor, Kate Costelli. And we had to make our own book that we could reproduce. So this was like the first ever like physical copy of my artwork that I was like, oh yeah, I finished a product.
Yeah.
Like, I can sell this to people. I can give this to friends and family.
Yeah.
And that was just really, really cool to me. So I kind of moved on from there, and it became my obsession.
It looks like a journal. It is, isn't it?
It's
Let me hold it up for you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's called Oh Well, You Were Swell. Now, where did you get the book?
So I made the book. Everything in that is essentially handmade. Yeah. There's even
wool.
handmade paper in that as well.
Is it wool? Or?
So it's a T-shirt. It's kind of like this sad love letter kind of thing that like I had a while ago. It's filled with a bunch of finished illustrations and some handmade paper, and that's a nice little gouache illustration that I did.
What did you call that?
Gouache. It's like a in-between, it's opaque watercolor, basically. So it's like a matte version.
That's real.
Acrylic. Yeah, I pressed those. Those were all flowers that I found in Cambridge area.
Look at this little rabbit.
Yeah. These are all kind of morbid, because this was like, kind of a sad book that I was working on. But, I was able to make that handmade paper.
Did you break up with someone when you wrote this? I know. I know.
Yeah.
Look, you got the mushrooms.
Yeah.
Oh God, sorry. What a GD mess.
Yeah, it's a dark book.
It's okay.
I don't necessarily make stuff that's that kind of moody anymore, because I'm not really in that headspace, but...
Oh, I love the flowers that you did.
Yeah, those were, I think, Wolfsbane flowers, yeah. I thought it would make sense, yeah.
So you put it together. Some people, they do binding classes, but this looks so complicated.
So it's Japanese stab bound, which is kind of easy. It's just laying down all your paper, getting two pieces of mat board or cardboard, and stabbing it through and sewing it together.
Yeah.
So it's not the most sturdy version of a book, but you can make something that can last a while if you treat it delicately.
How do you stab something through this hard?
Something called an awl.
An awl?
Yeah, a paper awl.
Okay.
Yep. You have to have a good one, though.
And good thread.
Good thread. So that has cotton thread, and then I went through again with embroidery floss.
What kind of paper do you recommend?
So I think I just used a standard cardstock with that,
Okay.
Because I was trying to be cost effective. But we made some stuff from abaca and I think Mitsumata or Mitsumata fiber, which gave it a really nice crunchy kind of feel to it.
God, I saw this coming in. I'm like, okay, not only that, but you've got
album stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
What are these?
Flip them around.
There you go.
So that these are two bands, one of which has my cousin in it, Dayglow Foxes. They're, in the Central Mass area, and they've been trying to kind of get their start up.
Yeah.
And then the one on the left is Ouroboros, who I think are in Boston right now, and they're on tour. They're really, really cool. I sometimes do album design for them. Yeah.
So if you're a rock group or whatever out there, and you'd like her to do a CD, you'll do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
You design the cover. I love this. Look at that. Look at the spaceman.
Yep. Yep.
Do you just know these, or do you have to something you look at, or it just comes to you?
There's a process. So usually when you're doing illustration, you should do a couple different concepts. So I listened through their whole album, and I was like, what would make sense for them? Because they gave me complete creative license, which is really, really cool. And what I ended up doing was just like did 3 different thumbnails where I was like doing a smaller version, like a rough sketch, and saying like which one do you think would be better for your music. And they chose like the Bell Diver by the fire in the middle of winter, and I was like, awesome, because that's the one I wanted to do.
Dayglow fox, well, it gets in flames. It gets my attention.
Yeah.
Now this one, is that a creature?
So an Ouroboros is a snake eating its own tail.
Oh, okay.
And they wanted a name that reads like a palindrome, backward and forward.
Yeah.
So they're this cool, like, you know, idea of like having something eat itself. And the first one, it was just 2 heads, and then for the album I was like, well, what if it was like many-headed, and then we can get this feeling of progression.
At first I didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
Now that you've told me. Now here's something else. We're talking with Hal Gaucher, and she is an illustrator, obviously, and she teaches at Worcester Art Museum. How can they get a hold of you?
So I am on most predominantly on Instagram, because it's just a really cool platform. You can find me at Hal Gaucher, so just you know, @ HalGaucher. I also have a website. It's www.gaucher.work. .work is the thing that trips people up, but yeah. It's a little portfolio site of all of my current work. I don't really have a lot of my digital work with me today, but like a lot of it's on there. Today I just mostly have my traditional stuff. But yeah, I'm also on Twitter. I don't really use it as often, but it's a good way to you know, interface with me. You can also find the Woo Comics updates on Instagram and Twitter at Woo Comics, comics with an X.
The people who aren't from this area and know that Worcester's nickname is Woo, W-O-O.
Yeah.
That's what it is. It's
the Woo.
Woo for Worcester. The second biggest city, if you're not watching from this area, in Massachusetts. So it's up there. It's getting there. We're getting there. I love the murals I'm seeing.
They're amazing.
Ooh,
yeah.
You could do one.
I did a little mural at my like high school, like when I was like 17.
Yeah.
It's a really cool art form, but a lot of the artists that are working on the stuff in Worcester right now are doing spray paint ones, which I'm not super familiar with. But the like level of detail and color that they are able to get on the wall is just like amazing.
It is.
And control. I can't understand the control.
Yeah, I look at that. I know how to spray paint with the artwork that I've done, but it can sometimes go awry. You know. Now, here's another one. What building involved? Is this in Worcester?
It's in Clinton.
Oh, no wonder. What is it?
It's one of the large like factories there, the brick ones. I forget the name of it, but it was like something like I used to hang around in Clinton a lot when I was in high school.
Yeah.
And it was just like stuck in my mind. This big like brick.
It's a factory building. I think I've seen it. I used to go up that way.
Yep.
Space junk.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's another like little sad like meditation on a previous relationship, but it's about 2 people like watching the stars go. Like there was I think a meteor shower, and we went out like in the middle of the night to go watch it in some parking lot.
How do you? All right, it's beginning to teach kids classes, but they have to learn how to block off the next picture and say, right?
Yes. So thumbnailing and paneling in comics is probably the hardest part of comics, because like anyone can really do like, you know, their own style. Like you see a lot of stick figure comics, and they're still really enjoyable to look at. But the most important thing is being able to tell a story sequentially. That's why they call it sequential narrative art. But we have to plan out a page. We have to plan out how the story progresses. We have to make sure that the audience is understanding what's happening. Because clarity is like the most important thing. Yeah. I had a really good time working on that. The cover is actually silkscreen, but I had to like scan it and reprint it because it was too stiff of a piece of paper.
Where do people buy your artwork?
I tend to do just like people can direct message me on different platforms, and I'll try to send it out for them via the mail. I'm working on having an online store that's a little bit more accessible right now. Yeah.
How long does it take you? Let's say this book right here. How long would it take you to compile it?
This took me about a semester. Just because like there was so much like work that I had to do on the side to make sure that I had like promotional material for it.
Yeah. This was last year.
Yeah.
And look at even the power lines. She's got that nailed.
Yeah, I was really inspired by everything in like kind of the suburbia central Massachusetts area, because it's been a hot second since I've been out here. I was in Cambridge for 4 years.
Yes, it's been extreme.
Yeah.
So some of us caught the flu. I think a lot of it has to do from going from extreme heat into the AC.
Oh, it's awful.
Have you heard people that were boy, we were
lightheaded.
Out of the, they thought my husband had pneumonia.
That's awful. I'm sorry.
We both ended up in the emergency ward. We had IVs, Now, it wasn't the throw-up type of flu, though.
Yeah.
It was, now, looked at, here we go.
Oh, yeah, this is,
What's this one?
So this is a little poetry book. It's a little risque, but it's filled with illustrations and poems by both me and my partner.
Yeah.
So it's just this kind of like brief meditation on a relationship and the poetry that we wrote in a relationship together. And yeah, it's called Heart Project.
I love the way you did that.
Yeah, I really love power lines, chain link fences, sidewalks and stuff. Yeah. And they're really fun to draw too. Yeah, and I kind of cheat a little bit and try to make it look like it was hand printed, but
some people is extremely time consuming. They want to get every link on the chain link. Mm-hmm. You bring the idea.
Yes.
Without overburdening the person.
Yeah. Getting the gesture of it or getting the impression of it.
Oh, there's no doubt what we're looking at.
Yeah.
And I know in Worcester, my God, there's so many. There's that, what is it, the little train station? Oh, what's our big building in the center where the Rotary? Yeah.
Yeah, Union Station.
Where that killer suicide Rotary is.
Yeah, Kelly Square.
Oh my God.
They're working on it right now. Apparently, they're going to make it look like a big peanut. So
have you done the old Worcester State Hospital? Mm-hmm. They left the clock tower. Have you ever done that?
No, that actually might be a good thing to put in, because I haven't really drawn anything of Worcester aside from that little comic right there. So
let me see that was now this one. I always want to color what you've done. Now, what is that? Let's see that one.
So this is my living room and my roommate's cat.
Oh.
Yeah.
So you finally colored, it was watercolor?
Watercolor, yeah.
Oh, good. I cannot seem to master watercolor.
This was my actual, first, finished piece in watercolor. Yeah. I really hated it when I was working with watercolor when I, was first introduced to it in high school, because it wasn't very forgiving. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Every decision that you make, you have a very small window for, fixing it if something goes wrong. Mm. But yeah, this was using kind of a mixture of watercolor and ink and
what do you recommend, Hal? First,
working at CC Lowell, I can tell you what I can recommend.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you work there?
Yeah, I work there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you've got the ins news.
Yeah, I have the ins.
I've wondered, I've got a blank canvas. Do I use the watercolor first, then take my Sharpie marker or whatever and use it, or do you use the marker first and then put the watercolor?
So technically you could use the Sharpie first, because Sharpies specifically are, they're only really soluble with alcohol, so they wouldn't really get bothered too much by the water, but I would always do watercolor first, line last. Yeah.
And then you can still use, okay, because I love Sharpies. Mm-hmm. I mean, when I do
Sharpies are great.
I do this abstract design, it just, but they've also come in that superfine Sharpie one.
Yes.
I've had people say, well, why would you do Sharpie when you can get, over at
microns?
Yeah, a micron.
Yeah.
No, but that's more expensive.
Microns are archival, which is why they probably are preferred, because if your art supplies are not acid-free or archival, they mean the same thing.
You have a cat, I assume.
This is Momo. This is my roommate's cat. Everyone loves her. She's amazing.
What else do you have over there? My gosh.
I have a couple more prints. So right here, this is in Northborough, Massachusetts. It's
is that where you grew up?
Yeah, I grew up in Northborough.
Oh, is that on Route 20?
It might be. I think so. I lived right on a really busy road. This was Aluminum City, which is a junk shop, and then that's the aqueduct in
I think my husband, he's a photographer, took a picture of this aqueduct. Yeah. I'm not sure.
It's super popular.
And look at you make your pictures look. There's something you do to you draw it, and it's.
So this one's a photo, but these two are photos, and the way that I kind of put them together is, so I have to hand print them layer by layer.
Right.
So the one on the left is with CMYK, which is cyan, magenta, yellow key inks, and I have to use these tiny dots. If you remember in newspapers, all those tiny dots.
Yeah.
It's the same method. And then the one on the right is called a threshold print, where I'm taking the darkest darks and lights and midtones and deciding on a color for each one.
I love the blue and the yellow.
I I do too. It's my favorite color
I
combination.
got a question for you. I have a lot of people out there. When you're looking for a notebook, what is the deal where some of them are all the dots? What are people using it for?
That's usually for bullet journaling. So a bullet journal is kind of like a journal that you can composite yourself. So you can make a little area for dates, make a little area for times and meetings.
Connect the dots, make a square, make a circle.
Yep, and you can do little graphs on your own and just make your own page so it's more customizable. I personally really like them because I do journaling all the time. If you follow me on Instagram, all of my bullet journal spreads are on there.
Right.
I also do a lot of collage in those too.
Oh, I love collage.
Yeah, all of my books are mangled and super thick because I'm just using glue sticks and paint when I shouldn't be.
That's okay.
Yeah, but they're nice. It's just nice to have this little chunky reminder of the past year. Yeah.
Okay, now Hal, you teach the classes at the Worcester Art Museum.
Mm-hmm.
What is the fee?
For students?
Yeah.
I don't know off the top of my head because it goes class by class. Yeah.
Okay. When do you teach usually?
I don't think I'm going to be teaching this fall. I should be teaching again either this winter or spring. We just got done with our summer session.
Yeah.
So I was teaching a lot of youth and teens, which was super, super fun. They're always super creative and super inspired. But yeah, it runs depending on the complexity of the class or the materials included in the class or the kind of level of experience that your instructor has. So right now I'm working as an artist, a resident artist, but I'm not, I don't have a MFA in teaching yet. I'm hoping to pursue that soon. But so, if somebody has a, master's, they're getting compensated, proportionally.
Right.
Yeah.
How big are the classes?
It really depends on how many people sign up. Usually I have about, 9 or so people.
That's pretty good.
You get a lot of personalized attention, which is nice.
Before we sign off, we want to make sure, again, now are you going to be able to post this downstairs?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Look in the Upton Town Library. And also, if you're out of state, out of the country, you'll still find it. She's going to, one more time, tell you how to reach that. It's the Woo Comics, Central Massachusetts Indie Comic Pop-Up. And it's going to be September 21st, Saturday, 12 to 7. That's a long time. So you can sleep late, guys.
Yeah.
Free admission, hosted by the Worcester Pop-Up. And it's going to be at 20 Franklin Street in Worcester. Is there a sign out front? What building is it?
Yeah, the pop-up will have some signage. It's also completely accessible, so, it's, it should also be a family-friendly convention. And, we're trying to get as many people in the door as possible just to look at people's art and to engage with the local artists.
This just seems so new to me. I go to the library and I'm seeing, it's fascinating, but I couldn't grab my head around it. I think I'm trying to read a book, but is this a comic book?
Yeah, even if I could recommend, Scott McCloud is a kind of comic artist, but also just author, and he writes some really amazing books on how to understand and make and read comics. So if you ever want to look into something about engaging with comics.
All right, Scott, really I'll write that down. Yeah. Okay, before we close, Hal Gaucher, tell them again how they can reach you about this.
So if you want to see examples of my work, you can follow me on Instagram at Hal Gaucher. It's @ HALGAUCHER. If you want to learn more about Woo Comics, it's also on Instagram as well. It's at Woo Comics, WOOCOMIX. The Worcester Pop-Up, they have a Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook account. I would definitely check those out because they're also going to be talking about the convention. If you're interested in tabling, feel free to shoot us an email.
What's tabling?
So if you are an artist who wants to participate and sell your wares there, we're still taking applications. The main caveat is that 15% of your sales will go towards the Worcester Cultural Coalition.
15 or 50?
15.
Okay.
15% of your sales, which compared to other comic book conventions, they have a table fee anywhere from $30 to $140, depending on the convention.
What's table fee with yours?
Where you're paying, so there is no table fee.
Okay,
it's just that 15.
What if somebody doesn't happen to sell anything? Are they punished for that?
No, they don't owe anything.
They just don't owe anything.
Yeah. And hopefully, everybody is going to be able to sell some of their work or at least get some exposure.
You're going to be there.
Yep.
And you're going to have your own table.
Yep.
Now, will your partner have her poetry too?
So they're going to be probably be with me just to support me, but their poetry and my art are kind of just this like fun like mishmash. So
the focus will be more on your illustration.
Yeah, this is my time to shine. Yeah, I'm just joking.
This is really cool. I've got to show my son some of your work because I know he can relate to this.
Yeah,
he's only a few years older than Al is, and I'm going to tell you, his artwork,
millennial crew,
it's funky. You know, he's a millennial. It's a little bit funky. Well, so were the boomers. I mean,
everybody had their little moment. Yeah.
Oh yeah, ours was like peace, baby. I mean, all these fun things. I still do that though.
Yeah.
It's abstract. I don't have to sit down and do something. Here's a vegetable tin. Do the veg. Don't do that. I don't want. No. Listen, I just like waiting for you. I mean, I was just off.
Doodling. Yeah. Zentangle stuff. Yeah.
I love it.
Yep.
All right.
Cool.
Thank you for being with us.
Thank you for
having me. We should have you back on again. Good luck on the 21st.
Yeah.
I might be like, maybe we'll stop by and see you.
Yes, please. We love to
there'll
have
be the flyer downstairs about this event. So you and the kids or whatever are interested in that comics type of illustrating, go for it because this is big.
Yep.
Right now it's getting bigger and bigger too. Yep. I'm noticing in the library there's more and more books.
I'm so happy with how popular it's getting. It's a really great art form.
Okay, so the dot thing, she set me straight on those dot little notebooks and journals. I'm like, what the heck are they using that for? So you can actually put a little something on one side, connect. Do the dots show? Yeah, well, they still
show a little bit, yeah.
But if you use a watercolor over them,
you probably would still see them, but like I like that.
You like
it's more texture, yeah.
Yeah. She also works at not AC Moore.
I don't anymore, but we are in collaborating. So like hopefully like maybe we'll see them at the store. But like I would support your local businesses. CC Lowell's a really really great store. The only like professional art supply store.
And
in
they've
Central
moved
Mass.
now. They're not on Park Avenue.
They're on Pleasant Street. Yeah.
They're on Pleasant Street.
Yeah.
Yeah. You go down this College Road. Thank you, Hal.
No problem. Thank you.
We'll see you next time and be my guest.
Yeah. Thanks.